My name is Deferred. Today my speech is going to be on deferred interest versus balance transfer promotional rates and how payments are applied to those different balances on a credit card. Deferred interest. This is the first one I'm going to go ahead and speak about since this is the one that's most confusing to most people. Typically on deferred interest, it is a program set up where people can make a purchase on the credit card and have deferred interest. Basically means is the interest is then put into another account for the duration of the deferred interest program. At the end of either the 6 or the 72 months, the purchase now expires, and then at that time, the interest that's been accumulating for all those months are then applied to the credit card account. You have to be careful with this because you do want to make sure to pay off your balance. You want to make sure to pay that deferred interest balance off as soon as possible, so that way you're not stuck with high interest being billed to the credit card. Now the thing about this is if you have a low balance, say you have a remaining balance of $200, that interest that's been calculating each month is still going to bill to the credit card account because you didn't meet the terms. You didn't pay off the balance on the credit card in time. The second part I'm going to talk about is a promotion rate balance transfer, which is a low interest rate or a 0% promotional rate being offered to you to transfer a balance, consolidate your debt, help with home improvements, or even fund a family vacation. Promotion rates are always good for anywhere from 6 to 18 months. It's a great It's a great tool that people use to help pay off their credit card debt. The other good thing about a promotion rate is that at the end of the term of the promotion rate, that's when the interest is actually being calculated. So as you can see, the deferred interest program, interest still bills to the credit card if you don't pay off that balance. Now, if you don't pay off the balance with the balance transfer, then at that time the interest starts calculating on whatever balance is remaining on that balance transfer. The tricky part now is the payments and how they're applied to a credit card in this situation. So for example, all credit cards have a 1% minimum payment due on the account, which includes it's going to include 1% of the balance. It's going to include any interest and fees that bill to the credit card within that billing cycle. What happens next is that when you send your payment and say your minimum payment is $30, and you have promotional, and this is where the buckets come into play. So you have a balance in purchases for making purchases with the credit card. You have your cash advance balance as well as top any promotional balances you have. What's going to happen is that balance, when you make that payment of $100, $30 of it's going to go towards the minimum payment, so it means you have $70. That $70 is going to be applied to the purchase balance on the credit card. Per the Credit Card Act of 2009, the balance transfer or any payments made to the account above and beyond the minimum payment have to be applied to the highest interest rate first. Typically, this is where people get into a lot of trouble and not realizing the difference between the three balances and how payments are applied to the account. When a deferred interest happens to the credit card, let's say deferred interest, you have deferred interest on the credit card. You also made purchases with the credit card. So let's say your deferred interest, you have a balance of $1,500. You also made purchases of $1,500. So your total overall balance is $3,000. What's going to happen is your payment is going to be applied to the purchases first. And once you pay $1,500 to pay off your purchases, then at that time, it will go towards the promotional rate on promotional balance on the credit card. You know, working in the credit card industry and being a supervisor in the credit card industry, this is something that I have to deal with on an everyday basis. And a lot of people don't understand it and they get upset. This is why I'm creating this speech for this today. So that way you have a better understanding of what needs to be the expectations of the credit card. And this is how the credit card actually makes their money. It is off the deferred interest program and not the promotional rate. Since with this knowledge, hopefully this will give you a better understanding of how things work within the credit card industry and the difference between deferred interest and balance transfers. Thank you for your time.